Hello, hello, hello. And good morning. Good evening, I mean. Good evening. Ha, I said good morning. I meant good evening, Royal We family, for the Royal We Live chat. So happy that you guys are here. How many are signing on? I know we're getting started about 12 minutes late, but we are ready to rock and roll. Hello, everybody. Hey, Tanya, what's going on? Tanya, I did get your message earlier, your email about the sponsored video. I'm working on that right now. I have a couple of sponsored videos that I am working on right now. Had some, once again, technical difficulties. So, hi, everybody. Man, the Royal We and their technical difficulties. This is what happens when it's like a one-person operation here. So as I've mentioned before on the last live stream, I updated my software to Big Sur. For those of you who are Mac users, how many Mac users are in the house? Well, I do Mac, and updating to Big Sur has just been it's called Big Sur. Like, not Big Sur like, yes, sir, but Big Sur is S-U-R, whatever that means. Big Sur. I don't know. But man, nothing wants to work with it. My production software, my Premiere Pro, my editing capabilities, even my live streaming. I had it was a nightmare trying to get it all to work out and cooperate with one another. I should not have updated it. And that's what I read a lot of the online things saying, don't update to Big Sur yet because there's so many bugs. And anyways, like California. Yeah, like California. And it is California's a big update that's all kinds of bugs. Yes. How is everybody doing tonight? Royal We Fellowship. It's good to see you all here. And thank you all, those of you who are here. Thanks to all of those who have been a part of Royal We Fellowship. This is Royal We Live Chat. Royal We Fellowship Saturday mornings. We have been plugging on Big Sur, California. That's what it is. We've been plugging along, doing great with Royal We Fellowship. I am owing some videos coming up here on the Organic Royal We channel. So I'm looking forward to putting those out. I did, for those of you who don't know, I put up an offer for the month of December. For this month only, there is a very, very, very low-cost way to get your questions answered on the Royal We in a video format. So if you've ever thought about doing a consultation, this might be something that you're interested in. It's very low cost, and what you do is you write out your situation and your question, what it is you're trying to navigate, and I will basically have the consultation in a format, just a video format. So I answer it, and the best part about it is that the video will be available, and you can watch as many times as you need to. Hopefully, it speaks right into your situation. But not only that, but anybody else who's also watching it can also speak into the situation and offer some advice as well. So I'm anxious to see how this comes out. Like I said, I have a video that I'm working on right now. It was a first one. I have 3 of them now that are in the pipeline. One I'm trying to wrap up right now. If I can get past these technical issues, I'm going to get that one uploaded late tonight. But it is available, and that is an option that I want you guys to check out. You can find out in the link in the description box or on the organic channel, or just go to www.jointheroyalwe.com where you can schedule one-on-one time with me. It's the very first one. If it works out, if people like that method of getting a consultation, which is just to have your information, and again, there's no names involved, so it really just becomes kind of an anonymous thing, except you know it's your story, and so you know that it's answering your situation, but nobody else knows, if that makes sense to you. All right. So now that that's out of the way, what's going on, everybody? Let's see if we got any questions. I see a question pertaining to... Revived Lady says, Kevin, I saw that but could not find the price. The price is $40, by the way, for that. To have a video consultation, it's $40, and it's on the website. So, again, all you got to do is just go on there and schedule it like you normally would a regular scheduled consultation, and it'll take you through the steps, and it's $40. So, I want to answer some of the questions here that I see. HJF2BMe says, I'm still not understanding why a guy would lie and say his wife is a sister. How must the wife feel? Life must have been brutal back then to have to lie like that. So here we go. This is somebody from the Royal We Fellowship, and we have been following the life of Abraham and now his son Isaac, and both of them have lied about their wife's status, right? So, okay, there's a lot of different ways that we can answer this. Number one, they were related in a particular way. They were all from the same hometown. They were all nieces and nephews, and I know we look at that and go, ugh, gross, nieces and nephews. But back then, that's just how they did it, and that's how they rolled, right? It wasn't uncommon for Abraham to be married to his. In fact, it was a sister. It was a half sister. Abraham's wife, Sarah, was a half sister, and I believe that Isaac's wife was also a relative in some way. They were just connected. That's just how they rolled. It's just whatever. It's how they rolled back in the days, right? They weren't all about. It was kind of Amish style, you know. They weren't all about going out and mingling with the Egyptians. As a matter of fact, see, one of the things that's really crazy to us, and this is the same thing that's gotten us into a lot of trouble, and it's broken down our boundaries, is we have bought into this, open door policy, invite all tribes in, all people, all walks, become less judgmental, don't be judgmental, don't have boundaries. This is a part of the big hippie movement. Let's all be loving, you know what I mean? And now we're all wondering why we're in abusive, toxic relationships. We've been mingling and mixing cultures and beliefs and systems for decades now, and now the shit's hitting the fan, if this makes sense. So one of the things that we can actually gain from this insight of them being small communities back then, them maybe being married to potentially a sibling, half sibling, or whatever. At the very least, they were of the same mindset. They were of the same belief system, the same core values. And I believe there's something to that, right? We've lost that. And we're left picking up the broken pieces of having a mishmash of all kinds of values, all kinds of core beliefs, and we're all confused as hell, right? Thank you, Tanya, for that. Appreciate that. Tanya gets me. That's why Tanya just threw up $5 because she's like, Kev, I get you. I heard that. So there's that aspect of it. The other aspect that I personally like to look at this is that, you know, they darn well understood the toxicity of the outside world. See, when we live in this big mishmash of no boundaries, let's all be unified, whatever the case may be, you know, we lose sight of the reality that the world is toxic, that people are crazy. We lose that. We do. We see on the news that, oh my gosh, a guy just killed his girlfriend. A girl just killed her boyfriend. And but when we push that stuff way out from us, not realizing that it could happen to us, and this is a result of getting involved with people you have no business being with, doing things you have no business doing, going places you have no business going. A lot of it's cultural. A lot of it is different belief systems, and it is all different belief systems, right? What does evil have to do with darkness? If you're gonna date, if you're gonna be hanging out with brutal gang, whatever style, you're gonna get that. You know, we've got to knock. So one of the things that we've fallen into is, again, not having the boundaries, but losing our understanding that toxicity is fundamentally, and narcissism is fundamentally an inherent part of this life and a part of people. And we trip out when we see it. We're like, oh my gosh, you're abusive. Oh, well, of course, but people are inherently selfish. It actually takes small communities of people to weed that stuff out and to create boundaries and borders against that. But we also live in a place and time of people are like, no borders. That's not fair. That's not right. You can't create borders around yourselves. You can't be a one-minded small group of people. No, forget that. That is judgmental and that's toxic. Is it? Because the opposite of that is allowing whatever the hell in you want to come in. And then it's one big mess and it becomes every person for themselves. And this is what toxic relationships look like, does it not? You tell me, you were in a toxic relationship. Did not seem like it. Every person for themselves. That's what happens when you try to break down all the walls and make and be okay with everybody coming together. You're going to have the bad mixed with the good. That's all you're going to get, right? Anyways, that's my spiel on that. Blah, da, 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 da. Anybody can call in. All right. Let's see. Revived Lady. Thank you, Revived Lady. She showed some support. She threw up 5 right there. She's like, boom. Kev, I hear that. I heard that. Let's see. Discernment is important. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, but going back to the question about lying, one of the things that we talk about, and I've been navigating this on the Royal We, is understanding not lying, but, lying is bad. If you're lying to defame somebody, make up stories about another person, cause violence or anger or aggression towards people by lying, that's one thing. But withholding certain truths that really are nobody else's business, that's not lying, that's protecting yourself. And I believe this is what we saw both Abraham and Isaac doing, protecting himself and his family. He was in a foreign place with strangers. And his reason was, if I say that this is my wife, they may kill me and take my wife. What was he understanding about the culture and the people of the time that we fail to? And I think that that is the reality, that he knew what he was up against. In the outside world, there are people and there are men who would size up a guy, a dude, and say, that hot thing is your wife? I'll tell you what, I will take out my sword and let's duel, and the winner will get her. I mean, these people have always existed. These narcissistic people who just want to go out and take what's not theirs and bully their way by taking. This is a part of our life. And I believe that Abraham, thank you so much, by the way, Adina Shana. This is what toxic narcissism is all about. They just want to take what's not theirs by any means necessary, and they will lie and cheat and bully their way to do that. And so withholding the truth oftentimes can spare you from that. Okay? So this is an interesting thing. And thanks to D-Doll. D-Doll for popping up some reference there. Appreciate that. But don't push on the video right now. Otherwise, you will be gone, and I won't be able to talk to you. Thanks again, Adina Shana, for tossing up $2 there. Appreciate you. Let's see. Hey, beautiful people. Wow. Thank you for your ministry. Protection is vital. Back then, it was brutal. Tribal. Colleen, thank you so much for throwing up the $5. I guess I did answer the question. I was worried. That I was tearing into your question and you didn't like it, but you just gave me a big high five on that one, so I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and take a telephone call. You're live on the Royal We.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, this is Adina Shana.
Adina, how are you? Thank you so much for your contribution. Appreciate that.
There must be like a major delay. I had to shut this off because it's not.
Yes.
Yeah, not happening at the same time.
No.
Okay.
No, there is a huge delay. Absolutely. So, yeah, when you talk on the phone, this goes for anybody who calls in, just turn your computer all the way down and we'll just have a phone conversation. And then when you go back on, turn your computer back up.
Yeah. Okay. So the whole narcissist thing is going down. It's like super huge right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a few days before Thanksgiving, my ex, who I've been in hiding from him for the past over a year because he threatened to shoot me.
Oh.
So, I'm away. I'm in a different state, and just a couple days before Thanksgiving, he shot somebody else's boy. and he's in police custody, and we just had a court date this morning. And here's the huge narcissistic thing. They are requiring me to take a psychological evaluation before they will even consider placing my son with me.
Well, why are you even involved in this?
He had custody of my son, and well, our son, and he won that through all of his narcissistic stuff. And now, instead of, I've given my address like they wanted. They had denied me any visitation of my child because I wasn't going to give them my address. So I was told or the order said I wasn't going to get any visitation with my child until I give them the address. And so now we've just done that, and now they're digging up something saying that now the mother needs to have a psychological evaluation done. Never mind that I already did it, brought it into court, and then they dismissed it because my psychologist had some YouTube show about Sasquatch.
Had some what?
A YouTube show about Sasquatch, about Bigfoot.
Your psychologist did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He just and that was their reasoning for throwing out my psychological evaluation, and those things are not cheap. It was something like $5,000, and I'm penniless now. And the judge, this new judge, just said that I need to get a psych eval done, and this is what the narcissists do. And I'm glad that you're teaching people about, we just need to stand up and we need to set boundaries. If we do that, like early on in relationships, even non-relationships, just with people that we might just be hanging out with, and if they don't respect personal boundaries, then we need to step away if they won't do it in a polite setting. And I just think about how there were so many times that, I don't know. I just like wonder, like, okay, why God? I'm not being like all upset towards him about his choices of how he's going to train me, but I'm just kind of like, what haven't I learned yet that I am still going through this thing? This is like 5 years going with the whole child custody case, and even though he murdered somebody else and he is in jail, and the police have said it's highly unlikely that he will ever see the light of day, a good 25 years in there, perhaps. But why, now that he's proven who he is, why don't the courts want to see that, oh, he really is the person that she's been warning us that he is, and they haven't done anything about it, and the police wouldn't appropriately file my police report, and they just always let him get off. He strangled me and suffocated me, him and his mother together. Now he's murdered somebody, and they've already given my child to the grandmother, so to his mother, the one that raised a murderer. So the whole system is narcissistic, in my experience, in my observation.
Yeah.
In a court situation, how can we possibly defend ourselves? I just got an attorney too. Out of all these 5 years, I think I've had like an attorney for all of 3 months.
Wow. Yeah, you're really in it deep with this one. This is definitely not the type of relationship that you want to have anything to do with, but yet here you are, and
Ever.
Never. Yeah, but here you are, and you have a child, and so you have to go through the ropes. There's, and this is the life that comes with dealing with these types of people. Again, narcissistic abuse comes down to being with people you have no business being with, doing things you have no business doing, going places you have no business going. And a lot of times we get so wrapped in, and then we have, before we know it, we have kids, and now it becomes an anchored part of our life. And so you have to do your best to navigate and do what you have to do to get through your part of this. If that means you have to take the psychological evaluations, I would take them.
You're going to find a way.
I would take them. Just say, okay, wherever, whenever, tell me where to go. I will show up, and I will take your little test of telling you that that's a circle and that's a line and whatever the hell you want me to do. I don't know. I don't know what those psychological exams have you do. But
They just ask your opinions about stuff. I mean, the
sure.
first cycle just did the evaluation on me twice because apparently I was like ADHD, and then he got me some herbs for that, and it helped.
Yeah.
So
But in this case,
now I'm not so hyper.
yeah, but your point, your main focus, if it's your focus is to get your child in
Yeah.
custody, then just make that your focus. Your focus
Yep.
should in no way, shape, or form have anything to do with what's going on with this guy and what he is now going to be going through because of his decision. And you can't take responsibility for his decision in life. It was his decision to do what he did, and he's going to deal with the consequences of that. But you have to do what you have to do for your child, and that needs to
Yeah.
be your focus.
There is a lot of guilt in that, having not been able to convince the police, and now, my there's a friend that the child that he murdered was a friend's son. So it's not like this is a total stranger, but those two didn't know each other.
Yeah.
So,
It's still
but
sad. It's sad, the whole thing. And I would,
yeah,
I mean, like I said, I would distance yourself from that whole situation. Other than you're offering your condolences and your deep felt sympathies if you're
okay,
given the opportunity, or if you have to, that's just being an empathetic person in the situation. Other than that, I mean, you've got to do what you can for you and your child at this point.
yeah. I feel like because the boy's name was Aiden Ellison, he was 19. Because Aiden has died, I might live. He took the bullet that was meant for me. So I just wanted to mention his name. Like they said, say his name. Because, yeah.
You know, I, I'm not sure that brings any justice whatsoever into the situation, because the reality is nobody should have had to have at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's not your fault, nor is it Aiden's fault.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate, tragic part of the toxicity of this world.
I feel so grateful to be alive, though. I feel like I know I did the right thing now by fleeing to, several states away.
Yeah.
So whatever. It's life is stressful. That's my thing. That's what I'm going through. And DHS wants to take a look at my place and see whether or not it's an okay place for my child. And the last time they did this he was 3 years old. He's 9 now. But when my ex first ran off with my kid, he was 3 years old. And I set up a place. I got into a 3-bedroom house. I rented out 2 bedrooms for myself and my son, and made the second one like this awesome playroom. And then they brought it up into court. DHS did, but somehow I was mental because I had this playroom all set up for my child. Like it looked like a child lived there. I was like, well, I thought that's what they said they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't win. You can't win when there's narcissists. All you can do is run.
Yeah.
Run.
Yeah.
Run
The best thing you could do is to get out. All right.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
That's my thing.
I appreciate your telephone call, and
Thank you.
yeah, thank you for calling in and for being bold enough to share a part of your story with us.
Yeah. Thanks. All right, y'all.
All righty.
I'll say good night.
Good night.
Bye.
That's a rough one. That's brutal. And I'm reminded slightly in not as of a traumatic or a tragic fashion, but I do know that and that is so tragic. That is so unfortunate. And again, it just goes to show you the danger of being involved with certain toxic people, that how important it becomes to know who and what you're getting involved in and with, right? This isn't a time to be messing around, right? I'm not, sorry, I'm trying to follow along some of the conversations here. Um, anyways, I know my situation. In my personal situation, I was with dealing with my in-laws, my wife's half brothers and sisters, half siblings, and things were getting pretty out of control in our dynamic. And I caught it early enough that even though I still tried to make it work and I held my ground and did all the things that you do in toxic relationships, I still stayed away to the best of my ability. I stayed away from them. And during the times where it got real intense, um, they had a party. They were always having parties, and one of the things that I got myself wrapped up in, and my wife, is we would go to their parties. Why? Because, well, they were her siblings, and that's what you think you're supposed to do, is go hang out with them at their parties. And no, when you go to their parties and you get involved in their world, you're in their world. And this is where they become toxic, especially in their world. And anyways, I started to back out, and there was a party that they had, and I didn't go, nor did my wife. But anyways, come to find out the next morning that they got in a fist fight with some of their other cousins. And I got a picture from one of the cousins sent to me on Messenger, bloody lip and everything, and said, "This is what happened last night, and I can't believe it." And she also apologized. She said, "Kevin, they were saying horrible things about you, and now I see the truth," and blah, 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 and this and that. But, I knew when I saw the pictures and I saw that and they got into a fight, I had a feeling that if I was there, that would have been with me. That would have been with me. The tensions have been brewing. The toxicity amongst those siblings was increasing. They were irritable and angry and controlling and narcissistic, and I was backing out. Like, I'm out of here. And they were getting more aggressive. And sure enough, the party, after I'm not going anymore, a fist fight blew up. And I just had a feeling, man, that was supposed to be with me if I was there, but I wasn't there. So it ended up being with other cousins. So, that's just how these people operate. It's best to look at the signs, see what's going on, and get the heck out. Don't even mess around. Don't even mess around. All right. Let's see if we have. Okay, we got a text question that came in. It says, "Hi, Kevin." Let me open my phone here. Put in the password. All right. Oh, my gosh, man. Doggone it. Here we go. Finally. Open up. Open. Long question. Hi, Kevin. Appreciate your help. Question. We have a narc in charge of bookings for attending church Christmas Day and won't confirm our booking made weeks ago, but has told other church members we are booked in. Is this a power play? Typically narc. We don't play the games and haven't all year. Is this punishment? Do we let it slide from orphan no longer? Orphan no longer. Interesting. Bookings for attending a church Christmas Day. Won't confirm bookings made weeks ago, but told church members we are booked. I mean, I don't know. It sounds weird, but if you're booked and they're telling other church members you're booked, then you're booked. I don't know if you're. Not sure I understand that question necessarily, but it sounds like you're booked. Won't confirm booking made weeks ago, but has told other church members we are booked. So if you're booked, you're booked. You're booked. You're booked. I wouldn't read too much into that. All right. Let's see. Any other questions from the chat? From the Royal We Chat? Anybody talking about anything? I see some stuff about Facebook. Got caught off guard with some things on Facebook. Let's see. Fox says, when you stay in the light, it is very easy to see the darkness. But if you are in darkness with them, it is not easy to see. find a way back into it, you end up lost and wrapped up in black. P. Fox has an excellent point. I think I pointed this out on one of my last videos, that, listen, we're called to be a light, and it says in the Word of God that a lamp on a hill cannot be hidden. It doesn't say that a lamp in the mud cannot be hidden. There's a reason why light and darkness is divided. You can't be a light. Despite what modern Christianese tries to tell you, you cannot be a light in the darkness. If you are a light surrounded by darkness, who is going to see you? Nobody. The darkness will engulf your light. And we have been tripped out backwards and given the wrong message about that. Be the light in the darkness. You can't. You can't. Not in this day and age. We are called to be divided by the darkness and separated from the darkness. That's the only way the light can be seen. Let the darkness see your light from the opposite side. That's it, right? Because as you go down to the darkness, you get dragged into the darkness, you'll get sucked in, and nobody will see your light, right? That's the truth. I always said light can't see light. If you shine a light in each other's eyes, you can see each other. Light can see light, because if light looks next to it and there's light next to it, that's light, right? So light can see light, right? Where light can't see light is in darkness. If you have a light and you're in darkness and you look to your left or your right and all you see is darkness because there's no other light around you and you're in darkness, this is where you are in a narcissistically abusive relationship. In a group of people you have no business being with, you're in a dark place and there's no light. There's no one to rescue you. And you have no part in it. There's nobody to help you. How many of you felt like everybody abandoned you? And it's because you're looking around for another light. There's no light. You're surrounded by darkness. Trip down backwards. All right. Well, listen, with that, narcs at work. Listen, anytime you work, anywhere you work. Oh, let's see. I've got another text message question here. Thanks, mate. Do you ever find some days you just can't change obsessive thought patterns thinking about narcissistic abusive? And why some days? Okay. Thanks, mate. Do you ever find some days you just can't change obsessive thought patterns thinking about narcissistic abuse? Why are some days better than others? Yeah, I mean, this is an ongoing thing. I've struggled with this. Many people struggle with this. Your mind is going to go back to trauma bonds and loops. There's a lot of loops going on mentally, especially when you get adrenal fatigue and stuff like that. Your mind wants to go back into the patterns. You start to get addicted to trying to figure out the relationship. And this is why you go up and down, even when you're no contact and even after you're out of the relationship. It can still feel like you're in the relationship and you're stuck there, and oftentimes you're arguing with yourself because it's inside your head. You're stuck in a trauma bond. You're stuck in a loop. Your mind is in a loop. These mental loops are very real. Your body is going to have to process these things. You're going to have to experience it. You're going to have to learn methods to calm yourself down. For a while, you're just going to have to give yourself permission and understanding and just slow yourself down and say, listen, it's okay. You got to figure this out. You got to sort it out and deal with it. There's really no way, there's no pill that's going to combat this. This is the same type of psychological mumbo jumbo that CPTSD is made of. People who come back from wars and they have a hard time getting the images out of their heads that they've seen, the things they've had to do. It stays with them at last, and it can become psychological loops. You know, you have to understand our brain is just a memory bank, and it can just cycle through memories, right? Our mind is outside of our brain, and our mind controls it. But a lot of times our mind and our soul and our spirit, we're trying to make sense and process what our memories and what our brains have seen. And we can't. We can't. This is a part of letting go of this life, Because the more we're trying to figure out narcissism and toxicity and the evils of this world, we're not living. We're not living. It's good to understand these things, and it's good to learn about these things, and it's good to heal from these things. But at the same time, we've got to at some point stop paying attention to the memories in our brain, because once we get the tools we need to move on and protect ourselves, we really don't need to rehash the situations. But a lot of times we need to allow our mind, which sits outside of our brain, to just allow our brain to do these things, do what it does, do the looping, go through all that mental stuff it needs to go through. Yeah. Yeah, CPTSD is a big part of it. Betrayal is something that takes a long time for your brain to process. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Right on. Well, listen, with that, I am going to go ahead and, a question from D here. Kevin, do you know what perseveration is? Perseveration. I do not. Perseveration. No, I don't know, D. I'm going to have to look that one up. For sure. So grateful for this time together. Me too. Perseveration. Thanks, Steve, for separating all of those into its syllables? Perseveration. I still don't know what it is. Perseverance. Perseveration is where you can't stop thinking about something. Yeah. I'll look that up. We'll bring it up next live chat. How's that sound? Let's all do some homework. Homework assignment. Let's all look at perseveration. It's a new word for my dictionary. I haven't heard of that one yet. And perseveration. Let's all come back. Let's talk about it next Monday night. Royal We live chat. We'll talk about some ways in which to get through the perseveration of the mind, the looping, the nonstop thinking, the obsessive thoughts that we wrestle with coming out of toxic relationships, because they can become obsessive. They can trip you up. They can keep you from moving forward. They can rob you of living your life, and we want to stop that. So let's gather next Monday night, talk more about that. Saturday morning is Royal We Fellowship. Be sure to be there Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on the Royal We Fellowship channel. And we are studying right now the book of Genesis. We are still in the book coming out of Abraham and into Isaac right now. And we're just having a fantastic time reading and gaining some insights from the ancient literature. And so be there Saturday mornings. That is Shabbat at 9 o'clock a.m. You can find the links in the description box for that. And be on the lookout this week for Royal We videos on the organic Royal We channel. The organic channel is the regular Royal We channel. That's where all the videos are typically uploaded. And I will be having some videos uploaded this week, including some of the brand new sponsored videos. If you are interested in sponsoring a video yourself for a specific story that you are going through, head on over to the website, look it up right now, and schedule that. Also, shirts are available for those of you who'd like a Royal We shirt. You can find all that in the link in the description box down below. And everybody take care of yourself and have a great week and stay safe and try not to get too burdened down by the booga flu and all the weird stuff that's going on right now, because there is a lot of weird stuff going on with that. And we will be back next Monday night right here on Royal We live chat. Have a great night, everybody. Blessings.